Well, time once again to go out to we haven't done it in a while, out to the other coast of the United States, to Hollywood, California, and Michael Snyder is going to tell us all about the movies. Hello, Michael.
Hey, Alex. I hope you're doing well. Same to all the listeners. It's been a bit of a break, but that's because we're slowly opening up in California. In fact, I have attended my first movie theater screening. I was in an Airy IMAX theater, fully vaxxed, masked, and socially distanced to see Godzilla versus Kong. You kind of didn't care who won this Battle of the Titans. I was just excited to properly see a blockbuster on a big screen. But, you got to be critical at times. And in this case, we've seen a number of these movies since 2014. Warner Brothers and Legendary have been trying to make some bank on these giant monster movies. There was a Godzilla film where he's, stomping people as per usual, as he's done since the early 50s in the Japanese movies. And I guess Toho gave Warner Brothers the license, and they came back with another movie that they got on their plate, Kong Skull Island, which was actually a rather good update of the King Kong story. Then they did Godzilla King of the Monsters in 2019, and finally they decided we're going to bring these two guys together. And I don't know about you, but I've never imagined King Kong, as big as he is, to be a match for the giant skyscraper tall radioactive lizard Godzilla. And the weirdest thing about this new movie is they kind of do a little bit of the old hand wavy him and say, he must have been eating his Wheaties or something. I don't know how they managed to justify it. And that's a major problem with this film. There's a lot of things that we're just supposed to take at face value. In any event, we have the inevitable clash. And imagine Rocky versus Ivan Drago. Only Rocky is a giant ape and Drago is a giant radioactive lizard. Not so hard to do, really. Anyway, Godzilla vs. Kong is pure spectacle, massive, hyper-real CGI creatures pounding the living daylights out of one another to a shock to humanity. And there's a different setting here and there. You get Florida, you get the open sea, and you get Hong Kong, which kind of honors Godzilla's Asian roots. He's destroying an Asian city. Kind of made my heart warm. But anyway, there are various supporting monsters to cause havoc. No more spoilers. I'll say that the action is nonstop and well choreographed, eye-blasting madness. But the actors who are involved, Alexander Skarsgård, Rebecca Hall, Millie Bobby Brown, and Damian Bashir, to name a few, they don't have really much to do here, and they, exposition mumbles, and, honest to God, if you don't like this sort of thing, you're not going to enjoy this plot hole-ridden extravaganza.
What I don't understand is why you went to a theater to see it when it's on HBO Max.
Because I had the opportunity to see it in IMAX in a big theater.
Yeah, was it shot in IMAX?
It may have been. I have
no clue. It wasn't.
They used IMAX cameras, or they converted it to IMAX for whatever reason. Incidentally, here's a side reason I went.
By the way, have I ever mentioned I hate IMAX?
Yeah, and trust me, it's not always the greatest when you're looking in every corner and missing action.
Well, because they're converting a lot of films to the IMAX format, but they were never shot in IMAX.
No. Look. Director Adam Wingard carries this off pretty well, considering what it is. And again, there's so much hand-wavium, and if it's your thing, go for the ride. Watch on HBO Max, or when theaters open and you feel safe, check it out in the theater. I do want to point out, to see it before it opened, I had to take this route because otherwise I wouldn't have been able to see it. The Warner Media Player that they've been using for critics during the pandemic over the past, since January or so, does not work on a PC, period. It just doesn't work on a PC. And so unless you have an Apple computer or you're hooked up with the proper settings on Chromecast, you're basically kind of out of luck. So yeah. I took the chance.
Okay, next movie.
Nobody. I mean, those of us who first became aware of Bob Odenkirk as a sketch comedian alongside David Cross in the sketch comedy TV show Mr. Show were probably pretty freaked out to see him play a serious role on Breaking Bad as the sleazy lawyer that he'd also go on to play in the Breaking Bad prequel Better Call Saul. And he's damn good. And then he appeared in the dramedy Nebraska. You know, no surprise to see how utterly compelling and believable he is in the violent thriller Nobody as Hutch, a reluctant action hero, or more precisely, an anti-hero. Hutch is this dull, dutiful suburban husband and father who fails to respond to a home invasion and has a shocking character turn that unleashes a submerged personality who, to evoke Liam Neeson in Taken, possesses a certain set of skills that bring him into contact with ruthless Russian mobsters. Imagine if John Wick started out in his first movie as kind of a milquetoast schlub before going berserk against his enemies. That's Nobody. Connie Nielsen, who recently has been playing Hippolyta, the Amazon queen in the Wonder Woman movies, she plays Hutch's wife. Christopher Lloyd is wonderful as Hutch's father, squirreled away in a retirement home until things get messy. Riza is Hutch's old buddy from back in the day, and the Russian actor Alexei Sabrennikov, I think that's how you pronounce his name. He's from the Amazon series McMafia. He plays Hutch's formidable mob foe, and they all deliver in a nonstop descent into vengeance and brutality with a side of dark comedy. I mean, this guy's got comic skills. Anyway, the carnage is so over the top at times that you could imagine an occasional sound effect, like on the old Batman TV show, you know, pow, bang. That's a compliment. Nobody might not be for everybody, but those of us who like a little snark and meta in our shoot-em-ups will love it. And Odenkirk is so good and so believable as Hutch that you never quibble about anything outlandish that kind of happens in the movie. You can see it on Amazon Prime, Vudu, Google Play, etc.
Okay.
Have you seen The Courier yet, which is also available online now, Apple TV and other places? It's another unlikely hero, but this is the real-life variety. Benedict Cumberbatch stars as kind of a reserved British businessman named Greville Wynne, who's the central figure in The Courier. It's a very harrowing but engrossing docudrama based on the true story of Wynne, who was recruited by the UK spy service MI6 and America's own spook show, the CIA, in the early 60s to carry Soviet state secrets from Moscow to London when a high-ranking Russian official, a Kremlin mainstay, Oleg Penkovsky, decided that the USSR Prime Minister Nikita Khrushchev was bringing the entire world to the brink of nuclear war, and somebody had to stop the madness. The tension is kind of relentless here as the initially reluctant Courier has to deal with his Russian contact and regularly navigate a very dangerous route between the, between Moscow and England, going behind the Iron Curtain as the Berlin Wall goes up and the Cuban Missile Crisis ramps up. And he has to keep his wife and child in the dark. And the cast here is very good. Cumberbatch is in fine form here as this ordinary guy whose basic decency moves him to extraordinarily brave acts. Great to see Rachel Brosnahan, Mrs. Meisel herself, as Wynn's CIA handler. And the great Jessie Buckley of I'm Thinking of Ending Things and Wild Rose is on board. And very endearing as Wynn's confused and concerned wife. It's good stuff, and Penkovsky is trying to undermine his government, and it's a dangerous course regardless of the sacrifices he has here. The Courier was directed by Dominic Cook, who had done the relationship drama on Chesil Beach, which I thought was really wonderful, and written by Tom O'Connor, the Hitman's Bodyguard. This isn't fun. It's just a potent, really well-acted thriller that reveals genuine history that I didn't know about, and the uncommon bravery of a couple good men. We've seen this kind of thing before, but this is a good movie. And again, I think it'll play well at home.
Okay, next film.
The Father. I want to talk about this. It's received 6 Oscar nominations, including Best Picture, Best Actor, and Best Supporting Actress. And boy, talk about usual suspects. Anyway, They are, in fact, Anthony Hopkins and Olivia Colman in those two actor nominations. The Father is a superb and heartbreaking drama about the tragedy of dementia as a woman must contend with the mental and emotional decline of her vivacious, nimble-minded, and self-sufficient 80-year-old dad. Anthony is the character. He has no desire to be attended to by the various carers that his daughter Anne tries to hire. As a result, her life is dominated by his unfortunate circumstances, and the performances are awards bait, and rightly so. I mean, again, Anthony Hopkins is dad, and Olivia Colman his daughter. The screenwriter-director, Florian Zeller, handles his duties admirably and very creatively, getting inside the father's head, including dad's constantly shifting perspectives and perceptions, and that kind of gives the viewer a bitter taste of the frustration and confusion that the illness engenders in those that suffer from it and in the family members who have to cope with the devastation. The cast also includes Imogen Poots, Mark Gatiss, Olivia Williams, and Rufus Sewell, who are spot on. And still, the father succeeds primarily due to how powerful Hopkins and Coleman are. They bring the pain and make it all too real. It may be a bummer, but I give it a serious recommendation. And I see those gold statues on the horizon, or at least we've seen that they're getting nominated. Again, you can see this on demand via Amazon Prime, The Father. And that's pretty much it, unless we want to mention Raya and the Last Dragon, which is an okay Disney animation. It's very much in the Disney Pixar Toon Factory tradition, strong female lead, plucky young woman named Raya, who's out to find the last dragon in her mythological past kingdom after the threat that destroyed all the other dragons slogs on and is wasting the land again. It's nice that they have Asian actors in this taking the voice work in this movie, since it's primarily Asian characters. And, you know, obviously, this thing was meant for theaters, but it's only available on Disney Plus. On the other side of only available on video,
wait a minute. Hold on a second. Let me just mention that if you are going to watch it on Disney Plus, you have to pay $30.
Even now.
Yeah. This is what they call one of their premiums. Okay. They did that with, I'm trying to remember the last film they did this with.
Well, Hamilton, right?
No, not Hamilton.
Mulan.
Mulan. Which if you can wait like 2 months or a month or something like that, it'll then be free. So
yeah, true. It's good. It's representation done right with like Kelly Marie Tran doing the voice of Raya, Daniel Day Kim, Gemma Chan. These are all talented people, and they're getting the opportunity to do the voice work. And this is, quality entertainment for the whole family. Put that in quotes. I wanted to actually wrap up the movie side of things by talking about Zack Snyder's Justice League for a moment. Have you watched this?
Yes. Give me a fucking 4-hour break.
Yeah, it made its much ballyhooed debut on HBO Max a number of weeks ago. And yeah, you're right. It's tedious, but unbelievably, I found this.
Wait a minute. The original version was also directed by Zack Snyder and then fixed up by Josh Whedon.
Yeah, right.
But it's still he's noted as the director on that film. So how was this Zack Snyder's Justice League?
Well, the changes and the reshoots that Whedon did were really considerable. The 2017 movie was a Franken movie pieced together by a gun for hire from his footage and Snyder's. And here's the thing: this is overlong, has its number of overreaches and pointless choices and some crucial omissions, like how does Barry Allen get his speed and become the Flash? But unlike the cut-and-paste theatrical version, which is less time wasted, it introduces all the newbie characters and the villains in full, as well as significantly expanding on the people in their lives. It gives important backstory to make this work, and despite so much CGI action, it allows the viewer to understand the reason and the source of the conflict. Now, you may think this is boring.
Wait a minute. To add to the pretentiousness of this film, he does this in normal ratio, in the old ratio.
Say, this looks like a good movie. That isn't all. You can now watch it in black and white if you want, and the old ratio. I'm not joking. I have to say that watching in 2 sittings, you're going to laugh because you were. I was never bored, but I kept thinking, yeah, really, why? So with the epic scope of what Snyder tried to do, plus all the new characters that had to be introduced, there was no way this could have worked at 2 hours. If it was being made today, it might have been best served as a mini-series. And that said, the first episode...
so I think Zack Snyder overall sucks.
Yeah, that's fair. After he did Dawn of the Dead...
He's a new version of M. Night Shyamalan. You're supposed to revere his name.
That's why he stuck it in front. By the way, no relation. I have no relation to this guy. I eschew any connection to Zack Snyder. He's not Uncle Zack. He's not my cousin.
Yeah, right.
Right. By the way, I want to point out, I did like Watchmen, but that's the only film other than his initial foray, which was a remake of Dawn of the Dead, that I thought was that I didn't have a lot of arguments about. And Netflix is presenting his new zombie movie, Army of the Dead, in a few weeks. So, there's that. But if you are interested in Justice League and can sit down and watch it in pieces, perhaps, it's available on HBO Max.
Yeah. Okay. So, any other little things?
What are you watching on TV, buddy? I love The Serpent on Netflix. I thought it was fantastic.
Marjorie's been watching that. She seems to like it.
It's the story of a real-life serial killer and con artist who worked in the 70s in Southeast Asia and preyed on Western hippies who were coming for enlightenment and partying. And it is Tahir Rahim, who plays the lead in The Mauritanian, is great as this monster. And Jenna Coleman from Victoria and Doctor Who plays his Moll, a Quebecois woman who falls under his spell.
Is that Jenna Coleman? I thought it was.
It is. I'm telling you,
okay.
This is one of the best minis I've seen. It's probably the best mini I've seen this year.
I've looked in on it occasionally and said, boy, she looks a lot like Jenna Coleman.
Well, she has a Quebecois accent with her English, and Tahir Rahim is powerful. Yeah. And Hugh McElhenney is probably the only other actor of any note in here. He plays a kind of a foreign emissary in a Southeast Asian town. I guess it must be Bangkok. And I'm telling you, man, The Serpent is worth your time. And I've been also, of course, enjoying The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, the latest Marvel series on Disney Plus.
I'm having a hard time with it because, quite frankly, I didn't follow everything that went before, and it doesn't give you a primer and get you up to date,
Well, for those of us who are fans, it's been chugling along, and I'm not going to say this, I hear that today, which is Friday the 16th, the post-credit sequence is a bombshell. But I'm not going to reveal a thing about this if it's not your cup of tea.
Yeah. No, I'm watching it. But I liked WandaVision more.
I thought WandaVision was exciting and creative. Yeah. I agree with you.
But also we're watching the latest season, the final season of Younger. So.
With what's her name? That lovely Broadway actress,
Foster.
Sutton Foster. By the way, if you're a fan of Line of Duty, the great British procedural about the anti-corruption unit in a large British city, the 6th season with Kelly MacDonald is running in the UK right now. She was in Jiri Haji and Trainspotting. She's the person of interest in the 6th season. It is absolutely my favorite procedural, Line of Duty.
She was also in Boardwalk Empire, too.
She was indeed. Yes. She played our hero's Moll.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's pretty much it, huh?
Yeah. You can check me out on Twitter at Culture Blaster, on Facebook at Michael Snyder's Culture Blast page to hear me and Alex, and in the pages of the Marina Times at marinatimes.com.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Michael Snyder. We'll see you again in about another year.
Maybe.
Yeah, as the movies slowly come out. Anyway, talk to you soon, Michael. And if you're listening to GABNet 24/7, there's more GABNet coming right up.